It's a transformational time for Universal Studios as they not only prepare their new $7.7 billion theme park investment in Epic Universe for its grand opening, but also as they build experiences in Las Vegas, Texas, and the United Kingdom. But with all these amazing new destinations and experiences, the company is also making operational changes in their existing parks that might be considered controversial. Let's talk about Universal Studios' quote, third theme park at Universal Orlando Resort closing for a portion of the year, while also removing a feature that's been part of Volcano Bay ever since it opened here on That Park Place. From Scott Gustin over here on X, the Tapu Tapu wearable and virtual line at Volcano Bay will no longer be available starting October 1st, Universal Orlando claims. Universal also confirms Volcano Bay will begin a seasonal closure on October 26, 2026 and reopen on or before March 24th, 2027. This is some big time news. Oh yeah, big time news right here because now we have a Universal Park switching to seasonal operation in which it will be closed for a portion of the year right here. Marvin, you seem to have lots of opinions on this. What's your take on this?
I'm shocked by that because Universal has, I feel like with the opening of Epic, Universal has just completely abandoned that whole no, Volcano Bay is our third theme park. Because that was their line for a long time, was that it was their third park. I am shocked that they will close it seasonally. I'm sure there is a monetary reason for it. I'm sure they've crunched the numbers more than I ever could, but I mean, it's Florida. It's hot all year round, with certain exceptions, but I'm shocked that they would close it for the winter. I really am, because even Disney leaves its water parks open for the winter.
I think it makes sense for water parks to go down the winter, if only because they're it takes a lot of staff in order to staff up to operate a park, and if it's not going to be well utilized, then I think it makes sense.
I don't remember what the threshold was. I think if it's under like 55 or something degrees, they typically close the water park for the day. Could we see that? Even Disney does that. Like, so it does happen. But that, I wonder how that's going to impact annual pass prices, because Volcano Bay is included on my annual pass.
Oh, that's a very good. That's a very interesting portion of that I didn't actually.
And I've never been there. I've had an annual pass for it since it opened. Never gone.
From a business standpoint, I bet they're going to see what the public reaction to it is, because I think there's probably a lot of pass holders that are in that position where they don't actually seem to care whether or not Volcano Bay is on there. There are probably a few people who specifically choose it because of Volcano Bay, but water parks in Florida, winter in Florida, I should say, is better than some warmer seasons in other parts of the world. So I don't know. There is a reason, but it's not as much of a reason to shut down a water park in Florida. I imagine there are water parks that are going the entire year round there. So it's one of the reasons they chose the swampland in the first place, back when Walt chose that little town in the middle of Central Florida.
Right. And water parks are, at least historically, very, very popular. And I remember, as Marvin pointed out there, the third Universal theme park with Volcano Bay. It was a big deal when this actually opened, especially with Wet and Wild going down and all of that. The other aspect, though, that I find particularly interesting about this whole operational change for Volcano Bay was the inclusion of the Tapu Tapu, specifically that they're now making it so that you don't have to get a virtual line or virtual queue via that Tapu Tapu system. It's basically an armband, right, that you have, and I think it vibrates when your time is up, but you go to the actual attraction, there's a place where you can kind of put your Tapu Tapu on there, and then you're given a return time back in order to ride that water slide or particular water attraction, because these happen to be low capacity. They implemented this throughout the theme park when it first opened, and now it's no longer the case. Culture, what kind of operational changes can we expect from something like this?
Well, you're going to have legacy style lines, which will mean that first come, first serve, which I'm a big fan of. I think virtual queues are disadvantageous to the natural ebb and flow in a park. And, get your Tapu Tapu on will no longer be a thing.
It's extraordinary. I think that was a big point that they pushed for a long time right there. And some people didn't like it initially because the virtual wait times were so long initially that people only ended up getting on one attraction or maybe not even getting an attraction at all. Go ahead, Culture.
No, and also at the same time, I mean, this wasn't the only place that we're using tech like that. I mean, Express Pass had like multiple versions at one point, and you had to have one of these really weird devices to know when to come back to a given attraction. Express Pass doesn't work that way now. They added the additional lines in a different way to make it a little bit more understandable. But I think all of these virtual queue things are have a time and a place, and it's usually right after something opens, and that's it, because eventually they're not doing anybody any service, and they're an additional hazard, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. You can see the Tapu Tapu right there, and apparently you were given one when you purchased a ticket for Volcano Bay, which was pretty cool, including your admission. Now I'm guessing that will change. I remember though that they did debut Volcano Nights this past season, I suppose, at $99 per night, and that included I think well, you could see DJ games, all that, complimentary cook, freestyle machine, souvenir cup, all of that, but they also had characters out. But one of the things that was noted by people who actually attended this event was that they did not implement the Tapu Tapu system. Now, I wonder if Universal got a lot of operational feedback from that and said, okay, maybe we can actually discard this this system right here. But I just think it's a very big change to something that really this park was kind of built with the understanding that they were going to implement the system on day one. Now, doing away with it is, I think, very, very interesting. And also, go ahead.
If I may, the big push at Universal right now is facial recognition, photo validation. I bet you they're going to roll that out instead of the Tapu Tapu. That's going to replace it.
That's a really good point I didn't think about, and I think you might be right there. Some people, reacting to this as well. Melinda, I will miss the Tapu system, especially when we had the cabana and could tap in for rides in the cabana. That's a perk of the price of a cabana now gone. Yeah, I mean, some people actually did
use your face for it.
Perhaps we haven't.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think I get real nervous whenever people are searching for my biometrics, and I don't believe that anything or anybody should possess any part of your DNA or your biometric thing unless they're a family member who happens to just be a result of that DNA. But outside of that, I'm real nervous when you're starting to see this roll out through companies and everything else, because now maybe your attractions are based on your social credit score. That's terrifying to me.
You're really going to not like Universal in the future, then, Culture, because
I know.
are all in on this.
They're all in.
Yeah, and my conversation is going to be, if this ever becomes a social credit system, you're going to find a world of hurt from people like me, because I'm going to take it to the mattresses on that one.
Well, the theme park world is changing, and it's changing rapidly, especially at Universal, where they're opening a brand new theme park May 22nd, 2025. We will give you all of the coverage of those things and more.
Apparently, Vash, that somebody had commented it in the chat. And I wanted to just make it known I did not see that. So I'm sorry. Literally, great minds just think alike. I'm sorry.
About what?
About the facial recognition.
Oh, no. I
was not trying to. I would not do that, because obviously it would come back to bite me. So I did not see it. Was not looking at the chat. I apologize.
No. You're fine. You're fine. I think it's a great point to be made. I think it's very, very important, and that's the thing. We're gonna have to. I mean, operationally, Universal's changing big time, and they're really going forward with a bunch of stuff. Both things that are amazing for the guest experience that haven't been done before. Other things that are a little bit more controversial. We'll keep you abreast of all that and more as we get along here. Is this live with Canadian $10? Well, it would take time to convert the park to facial recognition hardware, which would be a lot cheaper than Tapu's, just saying. Plus, the park closures when predicted temp is below 70. Wow, that's actually...
You're not even going to need your park ticket anymore with the facial recognition. Like when I go to the regular Universal parks, I don't even have to tap my card anymore. They just see your face and they're like, in.
Wow, there you go.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.